Exclusive.
Convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison for recruiting and grooming teenage girls to be sexually abused by Jeffrey Epstein. Maxwell, who's a British socialite, was hit hard with this penalty for her instrumental role in the horrific sexual abuse of multiple young teenage girls. In addition, she was sentenced to 5 years of supervised release, and she was ordered to pay $750,000 in fines. Before she was sentenced, Maxwell addressed the court for the first time, telling the victims present in the courtroom that she was sorry for their pain. She went on to say that she also wanted to acknowledge that she had been convicted with helping Jeffrey Epstein with his crimes. She said it is the greatest regret of her life the day that she ever met Jeffrey Epstein. But U.S. District Attorney Judge Allison Nathan for the Southern District of New York said Maxwell directly and repeatedly and over the course of many, many years was involved in the horrific scheme. Ms. Maxwell today acknowledged the courage of the victims, talked about the pain and anguish they expressed, to some extent acknowledged the pain and suffering. The judge went on to say, but what wasn't expressed was the acceptance of responsibility. Then Nathan hit Maxwell, the multimillionaire daughter of the late newspaper baron Robert Maxwell, with 240 months in prison. Before that, Annie Farmer, the only of Maxwell's 4 accusers to testify under her full real name during the trial, and several other victims addressed the court. Farmer said that they felt powerless, while Maxwell looked on dressed in a blue prison top, avoiding her eyes. Another victim, who was identified only as Kate, said Maxwell's lack of remorse or acknowledgement of her behavior is the final insult. The sentencing closed the chapter in the salacious saga of Epstein, a once powerful financier whose friends and contracts, including powerful men as such as former presidents Donald Trump and Bill Clinton, to Britain's Prince Andrews. And guess who escaped justice by hanging himself in 2019 in a Manhattan federal prison cell while he awaited trial on sex trafficking charges? Maxwell's sentence was lower than the 30 to 55 years that federal prosecutors had been seeking. But nonetheless, they were satisfied. A few days right after her 20-year sentence, the disgruntled R&B singer from Chicago by the name of R. Kelly was hit with a 30-year sentence. Officials say that a 20-year sentence holds Ghislaine Maxwell accountable for perpetrating hideous crimes against children. Maxwell, who stared straight ahead when Nathan imposed her sentence, took a sip of water while sitting at the defense table before she was led out of the courtroom by the 2 female marshals who have been in charge of her security throughout the trial. Her lawyers have vowed to appeal her conviction.
Ghislaine Maxwell will serve 20 years in prison for sex trafficking. A federal judge announcing that sentence within the last hour. Now, Maxwell was convicted of helping to recruit young girls to be abused by her longtime associate, Jeffrey Epstein.